Hello and welcome back, and thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to be doing part 3 of my lever lock picking journey. Although I've been picking for a few years, lever locks are a new thing to me. So I thought I would finally get involved in learning how to pick them. So it's been quite a humbling experience, to be honest, because in a lot of ways I feel like I've gone all the way back to the beginning. I'm having to learn everything over because lever locks, although it works on the same principle, you're applying tension to the locking mechanism and then you're just finding the lever in this case that feels different from the others and doing something to it, trying to set it to get it open. What's been a real learning experience is getting all the tools together needed to, as I said in my previous video. But I've managed to get a few together that seem to do me well. I've repurposed this old case. I really like these washer pick wires. They seem to be really comfortable, and although this case would probably fill up pretty quickly, it serves a purpose right now. I've got a couple of bent nail tensioners, and I've started to cut down keys and use my other little tensioning handle there, which gets me some good results. But what I've done, I've managed to pick a few lever padlocks. I've got a few more on the way, so there'll probably be some more upcoming videos picking those and finding out what works with those. But I also wanted to get into picking actual mortice locks, of which I've got quite a few. And these were a real mixed bag. I didn't know anything about these when I got them. So between this video and the last video update, what I did is I went through all of them. I've probably got about 10 or 12 of these. A lot of them are keyless. And I took the covers off and just looked inside, pulled all the levers out, and just I found that they all had false gates or anti-pick levers. I think it's the same thing, which I don't know if they're harder to pick or not. I guess they are, but I certainly didn't have any that I thought were beginner locks. I have scribbled on this one. It's a 5 lever, false gates in lever 1 and 2. So it's got some levers that don't have false gates on, possibly a good beginner lock. And I think that was because we've got this little window. Many of them don't have any little window on it, which really helps you when you're starting out. In the same way, bear with me, that when you're picking pin tumbler locks, cutaways are really good just for visualizing what's going on inside the lock. So that's what I wanted to do. So that one seemed like a good candidate, but in the end I ended up opting for this one, and I've made a nice cutaway on the other side. I'll show you that in just a minute. Now, when I started out with that one, it had one of these plates on the side of it. And I think that's for drill protection. If it's in the door, that's like a vulnerability. So some of them have got this extra plate of steel on there. So what I did is I got a hammer and I knocked that extra plate off, and I made this cutaway just here, so you can see all the levers inside. And I'm really pleased with the way this came out. This was one of the ones that it felt like. It felt like I'd be able to pick it, because some of the levers, I'm not going to be able to open up any of the other ones, but I did find, you probably saw it in the last video, I struggled to get my pick wire in with my tensioner, and some of them have more room than others, and this one, it just seemed that it had a little bit more room at the bottom there. So what I did is I took this cover plate off, which is actually really easy. Let's just grab a screwdriver and I'll show you. So I took the cover plate off, marked it out, used a Dremel just to sort of cut that out and tidied everything up in there, and also took everything out of here, which was like a learning experience in itself, because it's like a jigsaw puzzle, and you've got a pile of pieces, and just putting them all back together really makes you realise how it works. And then you get a better understanding of the mechanism. As far as picking goes, we're only really concerned with the bottom half of this one. That's more to do with the handle that would be in the door. So that the handle sits in that section, and you've got the little latch there. But this is the actual locking mechanism, and you can see the levers there. So what I did with this one is I took everything apart. As I say, I polished it all up, cleaned it all up, and now I've got a nice little cutaway lock that hopefully will be able to teach me things. So let me just get this screw cover back on, because those levers, if I'm not careful, they will end up springing up everywhere. and I can just let you know what this lock so far has taught me. So it's taught me about anti-pick notches and how they work. I found that when I'm picking it, and now I can see what I'm doing, I can see when those levers get caught. So you can just see, let me grab something to point with. So on that first lever there, you've got this little bit that comes out here, and if we lift it up too far, it gets stuck in that little notch there. And of course, that's part of the bolt. So we're trying to, push the bolt in that way, and they can get caught in there. Now you have got on this one, you've got the anti-pick lever notches on the top and the bottom, and on some of these. So that really, I think initially it intimidated me, but I have found that most of the time that's not too bad, and you do get stuck in them sometimes, but it's not too difficult to just drop the tension and start again if you do get caught in them. What else have I found? Let's just grab the tensioner for this one. So this one tensions with this bent nail. And I did find with the other ones on my last video, actually, I struggled to get the pick wire in, and it just, I think what I was doing is I was putting the tensioner in, I was rotating that curtain around, and then trying to put my pick wire in, and as you can see, there's just not a great deal of room in there to do it. So I realized, and you see a lot of pickers doing this, but it's not something that I actually completely realized, but it's easier to turn it around to that angle. Get your pick wire in, kind of like that. That's it, and then you can turn around and get tension on it, and that leaves you free to kind of pick the levers. I did notice actually, while I've got the pick wire in there, I'll show you. I probably took too much away on this window, because normally the cover, as you can see from that one, the cover is holding the whole lever, the lever pack down. And by removing it, I've not removed it entirely, but by removing it a little bit, it means that those levers can kind of expand, and your pick wire can get trapped in between. So what I will probably do if I made another cutaway is, perhaps not do this notch further down and just have it up a bit further, just so it holds all those levers in, but that I can still see what's going on. So I think what I'll do is I'll get this rigged up in the vise, I'll get you a nice close-up on those levers, and we'll see if we can get this one picked today. So I've got them all set up in the vise now. Let's pop the tensioner in, turn that curtain around a bit, and I'm going to zoom you right in so you've got a good view of it. I'll just get the pick wire in there, turn the curtain, and see if we can get them picked. So that back lever looks about right. Just let off a bit of tension. These levers are feeling quite stiff. And you can just see there, that's the anti-pick notch, and now it's now caught in that little channel there. So I'm going to let off the tension, and we'll go again, starting at the back again. It's nice to see that, because it gives you a sense of what you need to feel for when you're actually picking one without the window. As that little anti-pick lever got caught, I felt the tensioner just give just a little bit. So if I feel that again, I know that I'm probably in one of those, and there's not much you can do to get out of it, as far as I know, in this particular lock. And there we go, we've just thrown the bolt. Let's zoom you out. I'm not going to take it all the way, because like the padlocks I've picked, if I throw the bolt all the way, the pick and the tensioner do get caught in there, but you can see that's been picked. So let's get those out of there. Well, I don't know about you, but I always like to see cutaway locks in super close up, and it's always interesting to see the mechanism moving around as it's being picked, and you can really get a sense of what your tools are doing. I've certainly found that with this cutaway. I've really enjoyed making it, and it's actually taught me a lot. And not only that, it's the first mortice lock that I've ever picked. Obviously, I get a lot of clues because I can see exactly what I'm doing, but as I explained when I was picking it, falling into false gates, oversetting levers, that sort of thing. When you can see what you're doing and you can feel the feedback that the lock's giving you, you can then take that across to a lock that you can't see into, even though we can see into that one. But yeah, you can cover that up with a bit of tape. But yeah, if you're picking a lock that you can't see into, you get to know what you're feeling for. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and it certainly feels to me that I'm progressing on my lever lock picking journey. I've got a few tools that work, and I've got a few locks under my belt, so I'm just going to carry on chipping away at it. Anyway, thanks for picking with me today, and I'll see you on the next one.